Hello everyone, my name is Bob Mitch and welcome back to the 318 PTU. Today I'm going to go through some salvaging and do some of the salvage mechanic that's been added to the game. So I have done a little bit of it, but the PTU has been less than cooperative, and that's putting it nicely. It's been a very trying and testing experience with lots and lots of things breaking or suffocation bugs and all kinds of nonsense going on, not to mention the 30k errors that have been going on as well. So we just had a micro patch that enables us to create some of the tools for the handheld utility tool. So we can make things like the tractor beam attachment and the salvage attachment and things like that using the salvage that's made inside the Vulture now. I would assume the same is for the Reclaimer as well. I can't remember if they did that for the Reclaimer as well. Anyway, when we get outside Microtech, we're going to give this a go, and I'm going to give you a rundown of the salvage mechanics, after having been able to do some of them and not others, thanks to the lovely PTU bugs we've had. So we'll get this thing into orbit. It isn't that quick, as you can see. It's not very fast at all. It's like driving a big tractor, but it's still fun to fly. So one of the things that's been recommended is that there's lots of salvage at the L1 points, so the first Lagrange points. So we're going to fly to Mike L1, we're going to go there and see if we can find some salvage to get. That was a pig's ear to get working properly, but anyway, now we're here. We're coming into the asteroid field around the Mike L1 station, and we need to find some salvage. And the way you do this is the same way as mining, so you fly around various fields until you spot a symbol that looks like this one that we're coming up to now. So as opposed to looking for a big rocky looking thing, you're looking for this symbol here that looks like a bunch of small falling rocks, just to confuse everybody. It's not the most elegant solution, but it works. And we dart over to this, and then we can start the main salvage mechanic. Like we've got a Hercules to pull apart this time. Last time I did this it was an 890 jump just before I got a big 30k, so I was a bit disappointed. So if we light this thing up, you can see that this thing is floating and is allegedly destroyed. And what we can do now is start the salvage mechanic. Now when I say salvage, it isn't salvaging like just disassembling the entire thing and taking it all. The mechanic they have added in now is just called hull scraping. So we press M to enable our hull scrapers. You can see the two booms on the front with the front of the ship swept forward there. And you can see the properties of them. So you have diameter, speed and efficiency, and in the bottom of the screen you can see how much of the hull is valid for salvaging. So if I press left click to turn them on, just like we do for mining, you can see that these things fire away and this thing starts to scrape. Except it isn't doing now because there isn't a lot of material here. Maybe someone's beaten me to the punch on this one. Oh, no, there we go. That's giving me something. Let's rotate round to the front of the ship. There we go. And as you can see, it starts burning holes inside the hull. So it's leaving sort of the superstructure of the ship and it's just eating the hull, so to speak. But if we right click, you can see that it changes heads and we get one that's a little bit slower but is a lot more efficient. And it has a slightly bigger head as well. And you can see we have the vehicle hull, so how much of the hull that we are scraping in the top right there is valid. And on the left you can see how much cargo we get, and so we have one SCU of cargo, and the little machine in the back of the ship basically compresses it into a cargo crate and then dumps it into the hull, which we'll go and have a look at when we filled it up. Okay, here we go, it's going to fill up in a second. And you can see that it says filler station ejecting. Now it says filler station ready. If we jump out of the pilot seat, And we walk through our little habitation here inside the vulture and down our ladder. Into the rear section you can see that we have a box of salvage, and hopefully now this little terminal here will allow us to do things. So you can see create SRT can. So now they've enabled us to create things. So this is just a temporary fix in this patch to enable us to create tools. Instead, what I'm going to have to do here is turn this off so it doesn't eject the crates when full. Not that it will now, because the little port here is broken, and we'll be able to create a multi-tool attachment for the multi-tool that my character's got on, because right now I don't have any attachment for it. So I'm going to scrape some more of the hull until it's ready, and then we'll use some of that material to make something to move that box around. Okay, so we had to come to a refinery to grab one of these things, and hopefully we've got a tractor beam in here now. Cargo refactor at its finest, just shunting this thing around, so now we can get this free. I wonder if this will let us spit out another one. No, it's not quite full. Can we move this down? No, maybe the inventory will fix itself when we get back out. So you can see how broken things are right now. Like, even though I've got a tractor beam attachment on my multi-tool, it's not working because the inventory system hasn't registered that there's an attachment on my multi-tool. You see how trying the PTU is being right now. We'll get back out, we'll get this thing full, we'll get a couple of boxes of salvage, and hopefully we'll be able to go and sell it. So I can just show you the sort of end of the mechanic. There's a little bit of something. It's an Avenger. It's a floating dead penguin, complete with the little stutters you can see that we're having on the server now. Very cool. Okie dokie. So before we harvest this, so we can see this thing in action spitting out a cube, we're going to go to the back of the ship. Man, these little micro stutters are really annoying. And you can see now that it won't auto eject material once this thing is full, which is going to be in a moment. I don't know if you guys can see this in the recording, these micro stutters that are occurring sort of every 2 to 3 seconds. Right, we get out our scanning salvagers and we salvage the material just until we've got enough to fill up the box. And you can see that we're full, filler station full, it's ready, we can jump straight back out. Into our cargo area, and we can push the button. And you can see we have the option to create our cargo. If we say eject, and you'll see we'll get a big box of salvage. There we go, salvage crate number 2. So now we have 2 of them. Let's see if my multi-tool is working. Oh yes, it is. So now we can actually move these things, and you can see with the cargo refactor that we have, they will snap to grid now. So you can move these things and stack them on top of one another if you want, and you can move these things wherever the hell you want. So the cargo refactor means that now, depending on, well, regardless of what cargo you have, regardless of if it's salvage, if it's drugs, if it's any kind of composite material or mineral, regardless of what it is, you can use the multi-tool tractor beam or move it by hand if you can move it by hand and it's not too heavy, and you can move it around and do with it what you want. That's what the big cargo refactor is in game, just to give a quick showcase of what that is. So once again, we just pull this down with our little annoying micro stutters, and you can see it automatically snaps to place as soon as I let go of the tractor beam. And you can do this over and over and over and over until you have a full bay of salvage. So I'm not going to do a full bay of salvage because I want to see how much 1 or maybe 2 of these is worth. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Microtech, and we are going to see how much these things sell for. So it's worth noting before we shoot back that in the prior builds, so 1 or 2 builds ago, when they first brought the mechanic in, obviously, it was the sort of word on the street that a vulture could harvest roughly, I think it was 135,000 credits worth of material, and a reclaimer, because the reclaimer can do this too, maybe I'll do some in the reclaimer as well just to spice things up a bit. The reclaimer could salvage roughly 2 million credits worth of cargo. That's if you fill the cargo bay up. So lots and lots and lots of salvage inside your reclaimer there. However, in the patch before this one, because they just released this little micro patch in order to create those tools there in that station I showed you, they increased the value that the vulture can get, sort of what it can scrape off and fit into the crates, and they noticeably decreased, that was CIG's exact words, noticeably decreased the amount that a reclaimer could get, so as to, I think, to nerf its value of what it could harvest, which it's PTU, the values are going to change, so reclaimer is going to be the multi-crew option, of course, if you have the people to spare for it. Regardless, let's get back to New Babbage and sell these 2 crates we've got. I swear I'm getting better at parking these things.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Right, we'll open our door to go out inside. Oh wow, it's kind of frightening that it's this thin piece of glass that separates you from space inside the cockpit of that thing. Even with the relaxation kind of element of the nice panoramic cockpit, I don't think I'm going to take my helmet off inside there, just in case. As you can see, the trains are pretty jumpy and janky still. This thing looks like it's going to derail any second with the speed it's going. All these terminals are looking fancy now. Here's our vulture. So, we sell it all. 15.39k. So that would make them worth just over 7k each. Which isn't bad, I suppose. It's a nice way to make money. And it honestly won't take you very long to make quite a bit of money doing this. So I can see why they kind of nerfed the reclaimer a bit. It's a little bit overpowered. We sell this. Just like that. Easy peasy peasy. I do love these new menus. These new menus and these new UIs are very, very cool. There we go. We sold it. 15k for 2 crates of salvage. So yeah, that would work out at about 100 and something. Roughly, I would say 150 to 200k per hold now. If you stay out there and salvage that long. You just have to remember that after each box you get, you have to move it on the cargo grid to make room for the next one. So let's go and play maybe with the reclaimer, or we might mess about with the cargo refactor a bit. But that is the new salvage mechanic in a nutshell. So as we poddle around to our C2, it's worth talking a little bit about the cargo refactor. And that is that this opens up, as I said in my 318 waffle video, a lot of possibilities for piracy. So when your vehicle dies now, or when you get blown up, it occurs what is called a soft death, which means that the ship will die. You won't be able to fly it or do anything with it more. You might not die inside of it, depending on the circumstances, but the ship will be a wreck, and any salvages around, like Drake vultures, and they will be vultures, will fly around and start hull scraping your cargo, or rather hull scraping your ship. What matters otherwise is that pirates can also do this, and now because of the soft death, your cargo will remain behind. It might scatter, it might fly everywhere if you're, you know, somewhere in 0G, or it might crash down to the surface of a planet. But the point is, your cargo will still persist. And then pirates can just come and loot your ship and loot your wreck. Alternatively, of course, if pirates can force you to stop by disabling components in your ship or doing enough damage that you're scared enough that you might think, you know, losing a bit of cargo as opposed to all, and you can negotiate with the pirates, then the pirates can come on board and start moving crates individually, one by one, to come and just help themselves to your cargo. That's the beauty of the new cargo refactor. It really does open up piracy as a legitimate career, because now you can just step on board someone's ship and take their stuff crate by crate. So lots and lots of fun ahead. Okay, for the second little bit of our video journey here, as we look more at the salvage stuff, I thought I'd have some fun with the Mercury Star Runner. So what I've done is I've flown this into New Babbage. I don't have a tractor tool, unfortunately, because I had to do a character reset, the nature of PTU being as it is. But we're going to land this thing down, and then we're going to go into the back, because I've filled it half-ish, like 2/3 full, of waste, so hopefully lighter cargo. And I'm just going to toss some grenades in the back to see if it blows the cargo round, first of all, just to show you some more of the cargo refactor. And then we're going to self-destruct the MSR, and hopefully see if the cargo remains. That's if I don't crash the server. So let's see what we can get away with. Let's have a look here. Hopefully the still very buggy inventory system has registered that I have some grenades on me. We'll soon find out. See, we've got quite a bit of cargo back here. So even though I didn't fill it, you can see that it's almost full. Press G. Oh, we have our grenade. So I'm just going to chuck one at the back, and then I'm going to run. That didn't seem to do much, although the frame rate dipped for a second. Oh, I honestly thought that would do more with the cargo. Never mind. Oh, that's gone underneath the ship. That's not good. Oh no, there it is. Okay, so that didn't do much. Second test. Destroying the cargo by destroying the ship, or seeing if the cargo remains. We'll soon see. If I had a tractor tool, I could toss it out for giggles. But obviously with the server reset it means going to a refinery and such, and the servers are still playing not very nicely, so I haven't taken the time to do that this time round.
Self-destruct on.
Time to run. I don't know how long I have in a Mercury Star Runner. Probably not long enough to get through all these corridors. Whoa! That frame rate dip. Whoa, that definitely made the frame rate dip. Okay. Oh, I see boxes. And remember, even though the wreck is bugging out, it's supposed to be salvageable. So you're supposed to be able to come down here in something like a vulture and hull scrape. But as you can see, all of the cargo remains. So ships get blown up now, they get the soft death, and I imagine people on board may have been killed inside that thing, at the very least injured very seriously. Oh, don't hurt me. But you can see that all of the cargo remains, and it's all completely interactable. I can probably not move it because it's still too heavy to move, but you could definitely pick this up with a tractor tool and bung it into another cargo hold if you have one at your disposal. So there we go, cargo refactor. This is a bit more of a boring one because I'm not in a very light atmosphere. I'm on Microtech, so the gravity is 1g, so all the boxes didn't just get launched everywhere. Maybe I'll do that at another point. And obviously if you're in space, they'll just get catapulted everywhere because there's nothing to stop them. But it's still good fun to see that this is working as intended, even though it made my frame rate dip like crazy. I wonder if the server's screaming because something happened. No, server's still pretty quiet, so maybe it was just locally. Yeah, there we go, that's the cargo refactor. So, quick look at the cargo refactor and some good fun looking around at the Vulture with multiple character resets involved, because trust me, this was a pain to record. The PTU is not being very friendly now. So, from the very appropriately cold climate of Microtech in this lovely sunrise that we're having, and the wreck of my MSR that's doing some lovely stunting standing vertically, 'tis the season. I hope everyone watching this and beyond has a very Merry Christmas, because it is Christmas Eve as I film this, and hopefully a Happy New Year, although we'll see if I can get some more videos out before we get into 2023. Have a good one everyone, stay healthy, and I hope you all have fun. Thank you for watching everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. If you like this and think I deserve it, please give it a like, consider subbing if you fancy sticking around. If you're thinking of taking part in the game, feel free to use my referral code on screen or click the link below for bonus in-game money that helps me out as well. See you in the next one.